Welcome to Get Docked. This is the podcast where we talk about the weird documentaries that exist in this world. I am Daphne, and we also have
Wilsen
and Nat
with us today.
It's going to be a good day.
It's going to be a great day.
It's already a good day.
So the background is I went down the weird rabbit hole of podcasts when COVID started, and I saw this first documentary, Finders Keepers. And I kept watching documentaries after that. Because after you watch one about a leg, you have to continue.
Yeah.
Correct. It's all uphill.
So today we are going to talk about Finders Keepers. Who wants to discuss or give us a little summary of that?
Well, I think primarily it starts with two men with a leg.
Two men fighting over a leg.
It's a custody battle over a leg.
This is the saga that has changed the world.
So we've got two players. We got John Wood and we have Shannon Whisnant. And John Wood lost his, left leg, I think it was?
Yeah.
Left leg in a plane accident. His father also died in that plane accident. When he lost his leg, he decided that he wanted to keep it.
Not great.
Not a great idea.
Interesting coping mechanisms, but hey.
Well, he lost a lot. It was a rough life. That was a rough day for him. So he decided he wanted to keep the leg, and he sent it off, to the hospital or the funeral home? Which one was it? I don't even remember.
Well, I think he had to get it from the funeral home.
Funeral home.
The actual, I think his coroner was, he brought it to the house, delivered it in a bag, and then dropped it off and then sped off. Now, he was under the assumption that he was just going to get the skeletal remains, but it turns out that everything else was still attached.
Yeah.
So he literally got his leg back.
It was gnarly.
Yeah, like toenails and all, and I'm pretty sure that it was a wonderful sight and smell.
So yes, he received his full leg, muscle, skin, and all, in a bag, leaking. I believe he mentioned it was leaking. What do you do with that?
Well, first of all, if it's leaking, that's a whole other situation. Well, apparently, you turn it into beef jerky in a tree.
Oh, God.
That's what you do
Oh, yeah,
Well,
he
yeah.
did. So he didn't know what to do with it. He then soaked it in formaldehyde.
Yeah.
And then decided to sun dry it in some sort of a container in a tree.
Yes.
For, what was it, 6 months?
6 months.
6 months.
No,
Yeah.
he took the screen off of his door and
and
wrapped it.
Yeah.
Like a doobie.
Like
That's
a
what they
doobie.
said.
Like a big doobie.
Oh, God.
So I'm sure that smelled great for the neighborhood.
Oh, Lord.
I'm sure any gust of wind going either way would have just pushed that into somebody else's yard.
Oh, can you imagine just walking down the street? It's like, oh, what smell is that?
Oh,
What's
man.
that a whiff
What
of?
is that?
Is that a whiff of leg?
You know what? I think there's a soupçon of teriyaki in there. Just a soupçon, just a smidge.
Oh, gross, man.
So once the leg is good and air dried, sun dried, and formaldehyde.
And other hides.
I assume there's so much formaldehyde in it, there's no maggots.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
It was dripping.
It was dripping. It was then placed on top of a grill inside a storage unit.
Yes.
Which then the bill was not paid and the storage unit was?
Oh, wait. We got to rewind a little bit.
Oh,
Because
Hardee's.
we got to remember it went to Arby's.
Oh, it was Hardee's.
We
Hardee's.
forgot about Hardee's.
Yes.
Oh,
it went to...
Wait, was that before the tree?
Yeah, it was before the tree.
It was, yeah. So we got to
tree.
go back a little bit. We got to go to Arby's.
Hardee's.
Hardee's.
Someone wants some
Hardee's.
Hardee's.
I'm thinking about it. Where's the beef? But
Apparently it's at Hardee's.
apparently it's at Hardee's. But we got to remember that it was removed through the drive-through.
Yeah.
Yes, there is at one point where he didn't know where to store his dismembered leg. He gave it to a friend who worked at a Hardee's. And it hung out in the back.
On top of the biscuits.
Yeah.
On top.
Frozen.
Yeah, near the biscuits.
Yes.
So then said manager of Hardee's was very upset and said, you need to take this dismembered leg out of here So, John rolled up in his car to come pick up his leg through the drive-thru. Who wants to be in the car behind that car?
Well, I mean, as one does, you go to, this place to get your meat. If it's still attached to the bone, that's a bonus. That's what I say. And if it comes in a plastic bag, I
don't
Dripping.
know, man.
yeah, dripping.
Can you imagine all that dripping all over the frozen food? That's so gross.
I couldn't imagine trying to clean the car out afterwards. If fast food makes your car smell that bad, like just having it in there for a little bit, I can imagine a leg dripping in your car in the summertime.
Can you imagine the Hardee's and leg combination of that smell? That's gnarly.
But I'm telling you, that's not the worst thing that has happened at Hardee's. It can't be. There's no way.
Can't be.
I do not believe it. You cannot tell me otherwise.
So we've got dismembered leg, Hardee's,
Tree.
up in a tree
Hardee's.
for 6 months.
Yeah.
Now storage unit.
Now storage unit.
Now storage unit.
Sitting in a hot storage unit.
And a smoker.
Enter the hero and villain of the story, both in one, Shannon Whisnant.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon buys the storage unit on auction,
Yeah.
takes a grill home, opens a grill, and then
I said, a what? I said, a foot. And they said, a what?
he finds a foot in the grill.
I said, a what?
A foot.
A foot.
A foot.
Shannon. Oh, Lord. And as any normal person does, he does call the cops. Mm-hmm. They determine that said person has not been murdered and is still alive. And normal person does what? Return the foot?
No,
No, absolutely not.
of course not.
No.
No.
He bought it.
It's
He
his.
bought it. He has receipts.
It's in his pocket.
He takes
It is
the
in his
foot
pocket.
out of the grill, the cholesterol dripping out of it, as he says, and he keeps the foot. Well, no, actually, the cops take it.
Yeah.
They send it
And then
to
they send it to the corner.
corner. But he wants to keep the foot because he wants to sell tickets
That's his property.
to view the foot.
Yeah.
So now this is where we start with the custody battle over the foot. Shannon wants to be known as the Footman. He has shirts printed up. He's got his, I saw his Twitter
Ah,
at one point. I think it was Twitter. But yeah, he wants to be famous.
Yeah.
Shannon has had a rough life.
He needs that attention.
He really wants to be in a different station in life. It's obvious he wants to better his situation, and he believes that this foot is the ticket.
yeah, I think he's probably one of those guys where he had tons of ambition, but he just never had the opportunity to get to a certain spot. I think if he's one of those guys where probably he was waiting for that one thing they can give him all the attention that he ever wanted. And I think there was a lot of things that probably kind of fell through for him. And this was that one thing that he was like, okay, if I don't jump on this, that's it.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, he also didn't get any support from people around him for a long time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I just think that it's just a combination of that. And then he had that weird resentment towards John.
It did sound like he knew about John prior to the foot incident. He said, he mentioned that John grew up having things, that John had, what was it, a go-kart, something on
like
his land, and if you didn't have your birthday party over at John's, you were nothing. So
Yeah,
it sounds like he was familiar with John.
He was probably like the neighborhood guy who had all the toys and all the bells and whistles. And I think that from certain people, like you go to school and stuff like that, and you know the popular kid. Even if you're not like, talking to him all the time, you know who he is. And I think he was one of those guys. And I think, he kind of looked up to him, but he also wanted to be him.
Yeah. I
It
mean,
didn't sound like John knew Shannon.
yeah, which is weird. I mean, he did call him a brat, though. Shannon called him a brat. So I'm just like, yeah, there's definitely resentment. And then, like, you see somebody growing up with everything, and then you have his foot. Like, I'm pretty sure it's just like, I got something that you want now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's but like you could definitely tell that the knowledge was not reciprocated. He's one guy knew the other guy, and the other guy was like, "Who is this guy? Like, I don't even know him until he got my foot." So it was just a different stages that they were in.
So at this point in the story, we have Shannon. who is trying to keep said leg. He calls an attorney. John is like, I want nothing to do with all of this. My dad died. I just want to make a memorial of my leg to honor my dad. And he's holding on to his sanity at this point. He doesn't know how to deal with things. He's dealing with a lot, while Shannon is just dealing with insecurity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty right on, because it's like at that point that they were just kind of just dealing with their little situations. And I think when the drug happens and stuff like that kick in, that's where things get kicked in a high gear.
John ends up, he's got his leg amputated. He's missing a leg. His mom's taking care of him. His mom's, man, she's a serious lady.
She's trying.
She's trying. You can tell she cares, but she has seen some stuff, and she is done with the BS.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You can tell she cares, because she talks about how she even moved her bed next to his bed.
Yeah.
So that she could take care of him morning, noon, and night. But the minute he starts doing drugs and drinking a lot, she's kind of over it. After a while, she's like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore, and cuts John off. So now John has no contact with his mom. He's still dealing with the loss of his leg and his father. Mm-hmm. He feels that he doesn't have any support from anybody, which I didn't really necessarily see that. I don't see them cowering to him, but
I think that when he was still in his rehabilitation phase, the mix between the Oxycontin, his emotional depression, a lot of the guilt that he had from being next to his father when the crash happened, and then having no real way to control the situation, he blamed himself for a lot of that.
And that was a good point. We did not mention that. When the plane went down, his father was the pilot, and he was the co-pilot.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, his father had a heart attack.
Yeah.
And the plane went down. And I think there were a couple other family members.
Yeah, it's three people?
Yeah, they were injured, but they weren't killed.
Yeah.
So the father was the only one who actually died from the plane crash.
I mean, if you're co-piloting and you see your dad going through something, you don't really know at the time, because at the time he didn't know that he was having a heart attack. His father looked at him and things went crazy from there on out. You have to have a lot of guilt.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Well, I mean, I think that's where the pain of all of his injuries, the medicine that he was given, it wasn't some lightweight crap. I mean, this was Oxycontin.
Yeah.
So, being in a situation where you're not really having too much other additional help besides, your mom, but then she's already getting tired of the situation that you're in. And you got to remember, I mean, her husband died. So she's dealing with that.
She's dealing with more than one issue.
Yeah.
I mean, all these people in his family are.
Yes, I mean, and I think the way that it wasn't said directly, it wasn't said like in a certain way, but sometimes, like being another family member or something like that, sometimes you might have a tendency of blaming him.
Yeah.
Not really saying it directly, but also saying like, well, where were you when everything was going wrong? You were right next to him. What you could have done something.
Well, you hear him say that at one point.
Yeah.
He
Exactly.
even brings up, like, why didn't I act sooner?
Exactly.
I mean, the relationship between him and his dad was already, like,
strained.
not that great, which is something that's interesting that Shannon and John have in common, is that they had this weird relationship with their dads, where their dads, kept seeing them as, like, people that constantly messed up and didn't live up to their expectations. And they actually both end up losing their dads before getting that, like, closure.
Yeah.
And it just obviously affected them both in a different way. We have Shannon, who's just like, let me try to seek attention any way I can. And then we have John, who's just like, drugs, that's the solution.
Yeah, he just closed himself off.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, I think that even though his mom was dealing with her own stuff, she, like, there's only so much she could have done to actually lean into that kind of thing. So.
Well. Pause. That's a downturn. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about John's situation. He dealt with a lot, but eventually comes out of it.
Yeah.
Shannon, let's talk about Shannon a little more.
Oh,
Shannon.
Shannon.
Well, okay. One thing I love about Shannon. He is like one of those guys that'll take, he'll buy some junk, sell it for twice as much, and be happy as hell about it. So
He's a fighter. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a fighter. He even though he feels that he's got a raw deal in life, he is going to make the best of whatever comes his way, and that's exactly what he tries to do with the leg.
Yeah, I think that he, he's gonna, like I said before, he was waiting for the situation to happen. When it fell into his lap, he didn't take any pauses, anything like that, because he didn't really stop to think about the person that the leg originally was attached to. He was like, I got a leg. How am I going to make this work?
It's mine now. I paid for it.
Exactly. Exactly.
Problem solved. And unfortunately, I almost think
I agree, man. You paid for it.
I mean, the law's kind of weird on his side, even though human decency may not be.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that. I mean, that just takes a backseat, for this whole entire situation.
And what would you do?
For me, I
would you give the leg back?
I would have gave the leg back. Yeah.
You?
Yeah, I mean...
That was some squinty eyes. You thought about that.
I mean, I thought about it because, like, at the end of the day, like, if I had talked to John and it was a whole thing, I probably would have thrown it away, to be honest, and not even really cared.
So you wouldn't have called the cops or gone, you've been like, oh, well,
I mean, I probably
leg.
would have called the cops, but then if the cops just kind of took it away, I probably would have, like, left it at that and not really cared what would happen to it,
Yeah, I would have called the cops. I don't think it would have ever crossed my mind to sell tickets or even make a shirt with my face on it and a leg.
Yeah, I wouldn't even care about talking to the original owner. Just be like, well, you're into some weird stuff, man. Like, that's all you got it, Yeah,
this story definitely began and ended with Shannon. If somebody else had found that leg, I don't know if we would have been watching a documentary about a leg and a grill.
Yeah.
So let's take a pause here and come back after these sponsors. All right, welcome back.
I'm ready.
Me too.
All right. Chilling. So let's talk about the battle.
The battle.
We see Shannon fighting over the leg. Shannon wants it back. Right now, the leg's at the coroner's
office. Yep.
Nobody has the leg. Nobody. Shannon wants the leg. Who wants the leg bad? He wants to sell tickets. He's going to be famous footman.
Footman. Mm-hmm. I'm ready for this.
Well, wasn't he selling tickets to just see the grill where the leg was?
It was, if I remember correctly, $3 for an adult, $1 for a kid.
That was without the leg there.
Yeah. Yep. Just.
This is the grill I found the leg in.
Mm-hmm.
Pony up.
I'm ready.
Apparently people paid for it too.
Yeah. Made the news.
Yeah. It did. It made many news channels, and then when they started bickering over the leg, it continued. You have John at this point is very addicted to drugs.
Yep.
Yeah.
And alcohol.
Isn't dealing well with the death of his father, isn't dealing well with the missing leg.
Yeah.
I mean, that itself is traumatic. You lost a leg. Mm-hmm. I know some, I think we've spoken before about, like, why did he want to keep the leg in the first place?
Yeah.
But would you have tried to keep the leg?
I mean, for him, I guess it was different. I don't know what some people think. I guess he had a lot of attachment to it, and
what's his leg?
Yeah, I know, but it's still, like, strange, but that he would equate, like, a limb with his dad. He's like, if I keep my leg, this is like me keeping my dad. They even said that at one point, and I'm kind of like, okay, I mean, if that's how you connect the dots, then I guess, So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's his leg. They gave it to him. I mean, maybe he should have paid for his storage unit, but, if he wanted to keep it.
I'm just weirded out that they gave it to him in the state that they gave it to him.
Yeah. Yeah, there should have been a lot of red tape and paperwork you would have had to go through for that to leave the building.
Yeah, I don't know of any operation where you can, like, they take something out of you where they're like, yeah, sure, here are your tonsils in a jar. You know what I mean?
Just what I've always wanted.
I feel like people have requested stuff like that and they've been denied, but yet here's this person who just wrapped it up in a trash bag and handed it over to him dripping wet.
I think it might have been one of those things where the person probably was a friend of the family.
I think so too. And the town was kind of strange. Like, look at the cast of characters we have in this whole story. It's just like they kind of all know each other. I guess John's family did have some type of I don't know, not fame, but people
notoriety.
Knew. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at you with words. Thank you, Dad.
Knowing your way around the English language.
Wow.
It's okay. I misused a word earlier. We will get messages. You're welcome.
But so I guess it just ended up working out for him. I mean, it's interesting because he did get a lot of what he wanted. I mean, that's how he was painted, right? With John. I mean, even when things got bad, he still got something out of it eventually.
Eventually it did. And then we have Shannon, who is now using the press to try to get his leg back. He goes on radio shows, starts talking about John's family in a bad light. John, who at first did not want to be a part of the whole nonsense, starts going on shows, and I feel like it was to defend his family's honor.
Yeah.
And, his father's memory. I don't think he originally wanted to be in the press. It didn't look like he did.
No, I think he was basically just in a really long recovery mode. Mm-hmm. And he was just trying to get everything straightened out with his family, with his, current condition. And he was just getting egged on by this other person. And, of course, that person has a limb that used to belong to you. So it's not like something that you can bypass or just ignore. He's pushing.
Well, how are you going to ignore it when it's on the TV every other night?
And on the radio.
Well, yeah.
You gotta, I don't remember seeing anything about it, but it was probably the most interesting thing that was happening in that small town.
Yeah,
there goes Shannon again with that leg.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, John had said that when he called his dad a hillbilly pilot is kind of when it really, struck a chord.
Yeah.
Well, now let me go do something about this.
Well, then, you're attacking the person who lost a leg. You're also attacking the family and the whole situation altogether. I mean, there's very little that you can do in that situation to try to paint yourself as a good guy. And I don't understand why he was kind of surprised, that people were kind of looking at him like, oh, that's the guy that's got the leg. But, you listen to the rest of the story, and it's like, well, he's not really good. There's not really a good way to put that out there.
No, unfortunately, there isn't a really good way to spin his side of the story. Even though he doesn't look at himself as a villain, it's very clear to him that, I paid for this. This is my right. Don't take my right away from me.
Yeah, and I've
got receipts.
Yeah, that goes into just because you can doesn't mean you should. There's a strong balance there where you can turn from a good guy to a bad guy pretty quickly depending on how you handle the situation. In theory, the bad things he did caused a lot of good things.
They did.
But it wasn't because he intentionally meant it that way.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. We moved on. They're doing battles at the Dollar General out in the parking lot. John at some point is fed up with the situation. He's going to do an interview in the parking lot of the Dollar General, and Shannon shows up, and they have some sort of bickering argument in front of the cameras. Mm-hmm. Shannon wants a custody agreement for the leg, because he's like, well, you know what? You don't want me to have it. Maybe we both can get some money out of this.
Mm-hmm. Let me have it on Halloween.
Yeah, let me have it on Halloween. But
you get Tuesdays and Thursdays, so
right?
And bank holidays.
The bank holidays.
Oh yeah, didn't Shannon literally call him that's not the birth person?
The birth owner.
Birth owner, yeah.
The birth owner.
Birth owner of the leg. I was just like, oh, okay, bud.
It's he's adopting it. He's feeding it. He's putting money in.
He's exploiting it.
Wiping up the cholesterol that's coming out of
somebody's got to do it. It's a dirty job.
So we're at the Dollar General. arguments break out, and at some point we land at Judge Mathis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Enter Judge Mathis.
The one, the only.
Oh, well, I mean, before that, we did get Shannon, the rest of John's family did cut him off because he started going on TV.
Yeah, that is true. The family was over it. They don't want to relive the death of their family. That's the thing. For Shannon, it's just leg. For John's family, it is a reminder of a tragedy, and they're done with it. They don't want to relive that moment in life.
Yeah, they're
not
trying to turn it into a circus.
He's cocained up, he's drugged up, going on TV shows, talking about this leg. Everybody's like,
showing it,
let it go. And we're not just talking about John's family, Shannon's family as well. His wife, the saint, his wife, like, she's like, let it go, man. Everybody's fed up, but Shannon and John are going at it. We end up at Judge Mathis. Shannon has got them on Judge Mathis. He signed his forms before John even got them.
Yeah, he sent them up. He's just like, I'm ready. This is my time. They're going to so rule like in favor of me.
He was pretty confident walking in there.
He was very confident.
I don't know why.
He said it was a no-brainer. He's just like,
no-brainer.
I own it. It's
well,
mine.
The thing is with Shannon is he sees the golden goose, but he sees nothing else but the golden goose. So he doesn't know there's any other options besides what's directly in front of him.
I think that if Shannon had other opportunities, he might have been more succcessful. Because he was very good at branding.
Yeah.
I think he was great at branding, but what was kind of like a kicker for him was when he finally got John to come out into the public. They literally said that John was just so likable, and like it was not as easy to like Shannon.
No, because he's stealing a dude's leg.
I mean, but then, and how John is, like, he's not even, like, the best person in the world, obviously, but there's something...
He comes across as humble.
Yeah, there's something about him, like, even when he talks, like, in his interviews in the documentary, that you kind of are gravitating towards him a little bit more. And, I mean, I did feel for Shannon to an extent, but I'm also just like, come on, dude, like, own your problems. Like...
Well, I think with Shannon... He always came off like a used car salesman.
Yeah.
Like he was always business 100% of the time. If you're not talking about money, you're not talking about anything. And that's what, even when he was at the yard sale, like nickel and diamond, what are you paying for this? He doesn't care about like your story or anything like that. He's just caring about getting to the next thing. And for him, it was always the next thing. Even when, the TV and the reporting and everything else like that, he liked being in front of that camera because that was the next thing. If there was 20 cameras pointing him at one time, the next time he wants 50 cameras. He doesn't want to backtrack. He wants to go forward to the next thing, the next golden goose, the next golden ring. And he wasn't going to be satisfied doing anything else.
I mean, that's true. And he also had like this... I don't know, this weird sense of self that obviously stemmed from, like, insecurity, but I don't think that he got to that point where he connected those dots, because he even, like, said he's, like, had the best business, like, mind and mindset, and, like, that people say that about him, and I'm kind of just like, who, though? Like, what people? I'm sorry, but, like, who, because, like, it took him a while to realize that people weren't really laughing with him.
Yeah.
Well,
he was just trying to sell something. Even when he didn't have anything to sell, he was always still trying to sell something.
Yeah.
Whether it was like him being like a stand-up guy or him being like authentic or whatever. Even like when he got on like a reality show, he was still trying to sell something, even if he didn't actually have the leg anymore.
Oh, yeah.
He was trying to sell himself to the public.
He's like, I can cry. I can turn it on and off.
Yeah, he's like, I can do whatever you want me to do.
Yeah.
Because he's always in sell mode. And that's the thing that, I wanted to know more about him, but he's probably one of those people that didn't allow people to get close. Yeah. Because of all the things that happened before, he's closed off. He was already closed off.
So back to Judge Mathis. They go in Judge Mathis.
Oh, yeah, Judge Mathis.
Jeez.
They go in Judge Mathis, and it is, John reads a little note that says, all decisions are final. And to me, I almost took that as a, please come on the show. I will get you your leg back.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
I don't know what Shannon's papers said.
Yeah. Well, I think it would. Sorry to interrupt, but that was also handwritten on his thing. Yeah. So I don't think that was on the other side when Shannon received his paperwork.
Yeah. No, Shannon. I got the receipts. It's mine. I'm getting my leg back.
Yeah.
I'm getting my adopted leg back. And then John, I feel like that handwritten note. That handwritten note was kind of like a sign. Hey, man, just come on the show. Everything's final. He can't sue you after. It's done. Once we do this, it's done. Yeah, it's all. So they go on the show, and even on the show, Shannon's sober. He's dressed. Was he? I believe he was in a suit.
He had like a button-up shirt.
He was all dressed up, for the occasion, and he looked good. Yeah. John was high on something.
Oh yeah.
He did not look well, but yet still more likable.
Yeah.
Even with Shannon busting out the jokes, that was hilarious. Mm-hmm. Shannon was pretty funny. John had his jokes too. Yeah. But John still came across as likable, more likable than Shannon,
and more authentic.
Yeah.
Well, even on drugs.
I think it was also the situation, because when Mathis was kind of looking at the situation, it was just a guy trying to make money off of somebody else. I mean, when you boil the whole thing down, that's all it is. Mm-hmm. He saw an opportunity. He took the opportunity, even at the situation of somebody else having a horrible incident. Yeah, you could still make money off of this, but that goes back to, should you, you can. It's illegal, but you're still going to be kind of not the good guy.
Yeah. So the trial ends up, I feel like it was sort of a draw.
Yeah, it was a draw in a sense.
John got his leg back, but then Shannon got some money.
Yeah.
So they both walked away with something. I think Judge Mathis had to acknowledge that probably the law was on Shannon's side. Mm-hmm. But, so that's why he awarded him some money. I think $5,000.
Yeah, it's $5,000.
And I think, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was thinking, with the $5,000, I know that there was probably not a legal precedent for the value of a foot. So I think that maybe they were probably paid to go on the show. And I think that was probably the equivalent of one of the paychecks. Because how are you going to write a value for a leg?
I mean, how much would you value a leg?
Well, and that's the thing. There's not a
well, it depends.
System.
My left or my right?
Your left.
Well,
not that much.
Not that much.
I'm a righty.
There's not really a form that says, okay, well, for appendages, this is what you pay.
I know, yeah.
So I think that's why they had that certain dollar amount, because they're like, okay, you just come on the show, we'll send you a certain amount of money, and then we're just going to backtrack, and then he's going to get some of that money. I think that's probably what it is. You get your leg back, he gets some money, he can go do his thing with his $5,000. Mm-hmm. And I mean, that obviously kind of put a little bit more heat behind him, because he was able to do other things after that.
Shannon did go on and try to, parlay into a, career. It didn't go well for him. I think he appeared on a reality show about storage units at some point. I forget what the name was.
It was like an auctioning thing.
Yeah, and he tried to auction off, the Christmas...
the Christmas lamp.
Yeah, the leg lamp.
The leg lamp, yeah.
And, at some point, you see... His wife comes out and talks about how everybody kind of sees him as a joke, and she knows it, and she feels badly for him, but I think she realizes it before he does.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And you see him on camera realizing, I'm just a joke. This did not turn out the way that I wanted it to.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of that has to do with how he handled, the whole decision with the leg and stuff like that. If he would have done more things to help out, giving the leg back and helping out with the family and realizing what it actually really meant. Because a lot of people can see that and just be like, look, this guy's just trying to make $1. And there's only so many times you can do that and not look like a clown.
I mean, but at the same time, he wasn't, obviously he wasn't really given empathy growing up. So I feel like he just doesn't have that, a concept of what empathy is. Because you just see him, struggle with the idea that people's feelings are hurt, even though, the moral right thing to do is just be like, here's your leg back, bro. I mean, I think that, again, just has to do with his upbringing. And then, like, another thing I did want to touch on is, like, after the Judge Mathis thing, I don't even think he cared about the money as much as he cared about the cameras.
Yeah.
You remember? He started talking about it to the point where this man starts, like, tearing up about how amazing it was to have so many, people taking pictures of him. And
saying his name. He specifically, my name. They were all calling my name.
Yeah.
I had 50 cameras on me. They're all calling Shannon, Mr. Whisnant. And he tears up, and you feel for him. You're like, man, I don't know how to fix this for you, bro, but.
Therapy.
Well,
a lot of therapy.
Like he didn't have the self-awareness to realize that this could possibly be his high point. He was expecting to draw this out for some other stuff, get to the next level. Like I was saying before, there's always a next step for him. And then when he realizes that there's not another step, that's when things hit him like a ton of bricks. When he realized that he wasn't the one making the joke, he was the joke. That's where things hit him really hard. And he instead of even trying to talk to the producers of the show and trying to get something else figured out, or maybe, go into like another show, people that transition from show to show to show and try to just keep something else going, or, anything like that. He just kind of throws his hands up in the air and goes, I guess this is it, because you don't really hear much after that point as far as him moving forward in any way.
That's true. There is one bit where he decides that he's going to try to run for president.
Oh yeah. 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't go anywhere.
Yeah. Well,
we'll update you on that in a little bit.
Yep. And I mean, and then like with John though, like his bonus was probably the better of the two.
Well, he got his leg back. I feel like that was a little bit of peace of mind that he got back. And then Judge Mathis really, stepped out and helped that family. He reached out. His people put John in rehab. Mm-hmm. They paid for rehab. Yeah.
I think that's one thing that I didn't really expect was for like a judge celebrity kind of person.
TV show,
yeah.
Exactly. To step in.
To step in and go, this dude's in a bad way.
Exactly.
His story is ridiculous, but man, he needs some rehab.
And that's, and that money had to come from somewhere, so it had to come from him because nobody else was putting in money in that whole situation. So for him to step in and be like, look, this guy needs help, let's get him to get things done, put him in there, get him his whole situation back. That was, the part 3 of like his story. This is where he starts to make that U-turn and start to head in the right direction finally. Yeah. This was like his life's U-turn to get to where he was supposed to be. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was just going to be like, he redeemed himself so much, but it took somebody getting to recognize that he needed help, and that's like the best thing from the story. And I think, again, it's just because there wasn't really anything that you could really dislike about John. Like he was a man that had a lot of problems and
didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah, didn't know how to cope or deal with it. And, and then somebody like Judge Mathis comes around and sees this man go through this weird story and then looked at him and is just like, yeah, no, this person is needs help. And I think that it's nice that he viewed him as a human being instead of just being like, oh, this is going to be interesting for my show. So yeah, I mean, it was an unexpected turn, but it was a really nice ending for at least one of the two, because he also got his family back.
Yeah. And I think that's, because he had that second chance, he was able to look back at everything and start reflecting and start doing some real problem solving. And that kind of helped him with how his family viewed him, how his mother viewed him, how he was able to try to bring value back into his life and to everybody else around him. Mm-hmm. He became connected back to his family again. So all he really needed was just a chance. And an answer to a question that he never had was, how do I deal with these problems?
Well, another point of view is that maybe he did need an outside influence. You know how it is when your family's telling you need to do X, Y, Z, and you're like, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
He needed probably somebody outside of his circle to come in and go, get your act together, man.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah.
And I don't know if his family had the money to send him to a fancy rehab either.
No,
I mean, it's not even only that. I think that his family just, they didn't know what to do either, and they got tired of him, and, you know.
They were dealing with the tragedy as well.
Yeah, they were, so it's not really their fault or anything, but at the same time, I mean, he was the co-pilot, and he did get hooked onto drugs, and it's just a hard situation to navigate and decide how to fix. But hey, he got somebody to see him, and that got resolved, and he got the Cinderella ending out of the two of them.
Yeah, I think that then with a lot of families, rehab is not in your vocabulary.
That's true.
With dealing with certain situations and stuff like that, a lot of people say, just man up. I've done this and I've been through this and you can get through this too. And everybody's built the same way, bootstraps and all, blah, 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 all the same old junk. But not everybody deals with every situation the same way. There are people that, mourn during funerals. There are people that laugh during funerals. People deal with things completely different from each other. And you can't expect the same outcome from everybody. But also on the same note, if you are dealing with drug abuse or any kind of mental issues, please reach out to your local, hospital, doctor, psychiatrist. Make the phone calls, talk to your friends, try to set something up, because you don't want to be out here dealing with these situations by yourself.
That's true. All right, well, so let's take a break. Pause for the cause, and we'll come back with some updates and the conclusion of the documentary. Talk to you soon.
Word.
Welcome back to the conclusion of Get Dog Season 1, Episode 1. Finders Keepers.
Word.
So we're back at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Shannon got $5,000. He's not going to get a reality show ending. John, let's talk about John first.
All right.
The good news before the...
Yeah.
Yes, let's do good news before the bad. So we've got John. He gets married.
Yeah.
He gets a wife.
He gets a wife. He gets...
he gets his leg memorialized?
Yeah.
So it was $15,000 to get the skin or his leg memorialized or something.
Yeah, the skin gets removed.
Yeah.
It gets put in a gel.
He finds someone who's going to do it for free.
Well, she offered. She saw him on TV.
Yeah.
She saw the story and was like, I will do this.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Judge Mathis.
Just for the joy of removing skin from bone.
Well, because she also did... She did do that, right? But for animals?
It was a hobby. You see these skeletons in her house when they go through.
Yeah, she's a taxidermist.
Yeah. She was an interesting, like I said, all of them, interesting characters. She was this taxidermist Trekkie.
Yeah.
So
that's right. Trekkie, live long and prosper.
That's what she has on her Tinder account.
That's what she has on her LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So he gets his leg, and they take all the skin off of it. It almost looks like it's encased in some sort of clear resin.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point, the lady was not happy with the end result and was going to redo it.
Yeah.
Which
I assume.
I don't know why she revealed it, though. She was just like, look, I did it. But I don't like it like this, so I'm going to redo it.
Yeah.
After he was so excited, I just thought that part was so funny.
I think she's probably, she takes pride in her work and wanting to do a good job for him.
Yeah.
I would have just...
everything he's been through.
I probably would have just postponed it, though, because he looked so stoked. And then just for her to be like, yeah, but you don't get to take it home because I really want to redo it. So I'm like, bro, you're teasing this man with his own leg. He's been through enough.
Just wave it in front of him.
Give him the leg.
Just give it. I don't think he cares anymore.
Yeah, just wrap it in some ribbons and stuff.
Jeez.
Put a big bow on it. Call it a day.
Jeez. His leg's been through enough.
All these people just wanting to, growing attachment to this leg.
Yeah, some people, their bones get horribly messed up, and then they get buried. His foot has been doing more traveling than most people do.
That's so true.
Ended up in a tree, ended up in a, fast food place. Jeez.
Yeah.
In and out of the coroner's office. The coroner probably saw that foot more than anything else.
Oh, wait, it went to the UK too, right? Or
Yeah,
like somewhere in
yeah.
Europe?
Yeah, because they had that talk show that was in Germany, I think it was.
Oh, was it Germany?
Yeah, so that foot has been in more places than most U.S. citizens.
Yeah.
That foot probably has its own passport.
It probably does.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Can you imagine, like, seeing that, like, when you're checking bags? Like, baggage?
Can you imagine having to check that photo?
Oh.
It's just a foot.
I mean, can you imagine, like, literally, like, you're like, what is that in the scanner? And then you open and you're like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I did not see that.
That smell.
Like, how did that go through
Not I.
customs? Like, it's like, hey, by the way, I have this, my leg, it's mummified, so don't worry about it.
I know. I was half the man I used to be, and that's the other half. You're welcome for that. You're welcome for that.
We do also get some touching scenes
Yeah.
where you see John reunited with his family, his mom, and everybody seems to be on an upward trajectory in terms of their relationships. And if you read on and you search the interwebs, it sounds like John even won some money in the lottery.
So yeah, I think when you start seeing possibilities, you start having possibilities, and he's one of those guys where he just needed that first step to head in the right direction, and as long as he knew it was the right direction, then he can move forward. He's not a bad guy. He just made bad decisions.
Yeah, then he even talks about I realized that I had to grow up, and that's what's so great about him is that he took rehab seriously because some people do go in and out of rehab. He had the one opportunity, and he took it seriously, changed his mindset, accepted his faults. I mean, I still think he has a lot of guilt he's going to probably deal with for a long time.
I don't think that guilt will ever go away.
Yeah,
No.
but
great that was traumatic, and you have a daily reminder.
Yeah.
Every time he puts on that prosthetic leg, it's a daily reminder of that tragic flight.
Yeah, and when horrible things happen and you're actually aware when they're happening, this isn't something that you heard of. This is something that you're in. Even like a horrible car crash or something like that, there's going to be triggers all the time. There's going to be certain sounds, a certain smell, a certain, leg that you have to look at that'll bring back those kind of things. It's not going to just be one or two different things that just does that to you. There's going to be certain situations, maybe a song that was on the radio. When you experience these things, your brain takes a long time to unravel all the things that were going on during that situation. It's not, even with certain other traumas. That's why when police do investigations, they have to go back multiple times to do interviews just to see if you can remember other things that have happened.
That's true.
How did the person look? How was the smell? What was the accent? What did you hear? What did you, all the stuff. There'll be things that come back later on. So, experiencing a plane crash where your father died and you looked over at him before everything was happening, you're never going to get that out of your head. There's no way. You're going to take that.
He's replayed that every single day.
Yeah, for sure. You can see it in his eyes, dude. But, I mean, even with that, he still picked himself up.
He turned his life around. I believe I read that he had done some charity work.
Yeah.
Won the lottery, like I said. I believe the quote was, John also won the lottery in 2015, stating that it wasn't a lot of money, but enough to say, hey, nice one. I see what you're doing here. Someone is really having fun with this story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And on to Shannon.
Oh.
Shannon.
Shannon tried to get a career off the ground. He wanted to run for president in 2016, and unfortunately, in November 2016, Shannon passed away.
Yeah.
Yep.
The good, the bad, the ever moving forward Shannon.
Rest in peace, Shannon. Condolences to his wife. I think his wife is a unsung hero
For
story. You could tell that she really loved her husband. She was there to support him. She did not agree with what was going on.
She didn't.
Yeah.
The lady looked tired.
She did.
Well, I think that was years and years of him coming up with the next thing to do. So I'm sure that war, when you always have that one guy who's, trying to scheme for every little thing, when you hear that next scheme coming out of his mouth, you're like, oh man, come on.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just so sad because I feel like, he was just such the opposite of, like, they were so similar, like, as characters, similar things that they went through. But then it's just like Shannon, his just took such a turn. Like, even though John's dad died in the plane and that whole thing happened, it was a good day that they were having. Like, Shannon didn't get that with his dad, which they speak on. Like, he passed and there was, like, never, that closure. And then, John had the opportunity to, like, reflect and see himself and, like, his problems and change. And, like, so other people or somebody else saw that he was capable of that, while, like, Shannon was such a salesman and, like, no one saw the person behind that. I mean, his wife did, but she could only do so much.
Yeah.
And then he just never ends up getting the opportunity to redeem himself, which is the sad part of the story. So, I mean, and that's kind of just life, like some people.
To be fair, John is, got to go to rehab. He got his life turned around, and I think we've all probably thought it. I don't think that would have happened without Shannon.
No.
Yeah.
Shannon was the whole reason why any of this even happened in the first place.
Catalyst.
I mean, just the way that he reacted to seeing the leg. I mean, he put the wheels in motion for everything. If he would have just took it back to the coroner's office and game over, then
John could have never. He could have
John,
been a drug addict, and he could have never gotten the help he needed.
Yeah.
We wouldn't be talking about John getting married,
winning the lotto,
doing charity work,
Yeah.
having a good relationship with his family. It would be a very different story, and nobody would really care.
I mean, yeah,
Let's be honest, we would not know about it.
Yeah,
That's true.
Shannon being the bad guy inadvertently turned him into the reason why all the good stuff happened. Yeah. He had to be that guy in order for all of this to happen. So, he made decisions that we wouldn't have probably made.
Yeah.
But
he didn't get his redemption on camera. But in the real life, there's his redemption. He is the reason why
he saved somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, which is, like, nice, but it also would have just been, like, a little bit more touching if he got to get to that.
If he had turned around and been like, you know what, this is silly, let me hand you back the foot.
Or
if
even
he had turned around at any point and done that, he probably could have gotten that career that he wanted.
Or even if he got, like, a couple more years on his life, because it was only, 2 years after?
2 years after.
So if he had a couple more years to, like, get that self-reflection, because it does take time. Maybe, you don't know, like, maybe he would have been like, dang, I was bugging back then. Like, it's just sad that it did something great for somebody else by being who he is.
By accident.
By accident. But then, I don't know, I just felt like he doesn't seem like he's malicious, though. So I still think that he was.
I think he was just trying to look out for number one. He didn't really. It wasn't that he wanted bad things to happen to other people. It was more like they weren't a factor.
Yeah.
He's definitely not a bad guy. He's
confused.
Well, I wouldn't even say confused. He has a certain way of doing things, and if that rubs you the wrong way, then that's usually your problem. Yeah. As far as, like, the way that people go about things, like, I'm just going to do what I'm going to do, and this is how I do it, and I'm going to get what I need to get because I have me and my wife, and we got to roll through this stuff. Mm-hmm. And, if you're one of those guys that has the misfortune of being on the other side of it, then that's, that's your problem. But he's not being malicious about it. He's not like, oh, I'm going to scam all these people, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to take everybody's money.
Everybody wants them to see, like, what do you mean?
he wants to be. He wants to
it's
be.
a leg.
Yeah.
Don't you want to see it?
Yeah, and he wants to be the life of the party.
Yeah.
When he was in front of those cameras, he was glowing.
He was.
And that's the thing. Like, he's not. If it was any other item that would have got him on TV, it would have been the same result. If it was like, if he found
ear in a briefcase, he would have been there.
If he would have found like a golden bar in that barbecue, it would have been the same thing. It wasn't the leg for him. It was an item that got him in front of the TV.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I'm saying, like, get that he wasn't looking at a leg as a leg. He was looking at it being a ticket for something, you know.
I mean, it is odd, you know, and it is one
Well, we all watched it.
Yeah, that's true.
And my leg hurts.
Your leg hurts.
My leg hurts.
Well, this was definitely the catalyst for me watching all of the documentaries I could get my hands on during COVID. So, what did you think, all in all? Worth the watch?
Oh, absolutely. This is one of those documentaries where you can, watch it, enjoy it. There are a lot of different twists and turns. There was a story arc for the characters. You can actually put yourself in those situations, and like we're asking ourselves, like, well, what about this? What would you do? Well, what choices were made, and you can kind of go through that stuff instead of just telling a story and then like, here you go. This was able to, raise things in how we were looking at things and ask ourselves some questions, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, I think that it was like overall really interesting. It was a weird situation, but like it was a very human show because like you had somebody who had this weird way of thinking that definitely did something that we all most likely wouldn't do with the situation. And then we had somebody who's struggling, and then, we had the growth throughout that documentary. It just felt like, you got a lot out of it. You got to really like learn about these people that you probably, you wouldn't have known because they're like from a small town. I mean, other than Shannon being on like Jerry Springer, you probably wouldn't have known him at all. Like, and then John, same thing. I don't know. It's just interesting that this little weird local story gets to be projected and like shared. And definitely worth the watch. It's a weird one.
I definitely thought it was worth the watch. It was very well put together. You did get pulled into the story. Seeing it multiple times now, like every single time, I can put myself in related shoes. I can feel like that tie to Shannon's family. I can feel that tie to John's family. I can see things from the different points of view. And watching it a couple of times now, you do feel for both sides.
Yeah.
For different reasons. You see the hurt on both sides of the coin for different reasons. It was definitely worth a watch. Definitely fantastic to watch these people talk.
Oh yeah, that's so true.
It is a gift.
So I believe it is out. You can buy it on DVD from Amazon. It is also available on Tubi.
Yes.
For free.
Yeah.
With commercials.
Do yourself a favor and watch some clips on YouTube, and you'll be going on Amazon to buy it. So check that out.
For sure. I think it's definitely a good investment.
So I guess that's all for episode 1. Like and subscribe on Facebook, Apple,
all the above.
All of the above. We'll get this written out.
Networks.
Yeah.
We'll get this figured out. But we do have a Facebook page, so
yes.
Leave a review, send us some messages.
We will be ready and we will respond.
All right. See you next time. All right.
Get docked.
Get docked.
They said, a what? I said, a foot. And they said, a what?
Like a doobie.
Like a
That's what they
doobie.
said.